Guys, everyone loves the state of the collection videos, and I do too. I've been binge watching them from so many different channels over the last couple weeks, so I figured I'd do my state of the collection video and showcase my watches for you here today. Now, unlike some of these other channels out there that do a SOTC or state of the collection 1 and 2 and 3 and 9 and 10, I'm gonna break my collection up into 4 sections. 4 videos, and the reason for that is I don't want one 30-minute long collection video, but I also want to spend just enough time to talk about each watch and share a bit on each piece. So today's video is going over my chronograph watches. Then I'll drop a video on the dress pieces. The third video will be the GATA watches or go anywhere, do anything watches. So that one I think you'll find pretty interesting. And then we'll wrap it up with the dive watches. And the reason I'm doing the dive watches last is because I have a really big announcement to make on that video, like holy grail kind of announcement. So if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss out. It's gonna be a tearjerker, guys. Okay, chronographs, let's get into it.
Hey, did you know it's a great day to wear a watch?
So real quick, in case if you're new to the channel, my name's Dave. May the Schwartz be with you. And hey, did you know it's a great day to wear a watch? Boom. Today I'm actually rocking my Tudor Prince Date Day in two-tone 18 karat gold and steel. Very special piece to me, and I will be reviewing this in full for you in the future. I just got a lot of stuff kind of lined up, so stay tuned for that. Now, I gotta be honest, when I started sorting out my collection, I had no idea that I owned this many chronograph watches. I think we definitely have some overlap here, and because of that, quite a few of these are going to have to get sold or moved on at some point this year. Which ones? Well, you'll have to wait and see. But let's start with the Martian driver chronograph watches. These two you see here look similar, but actually are quite different. The first version of the Martian driver chronograph used a quartz chronograph movement that continuously runs and tracks up to 1 hour on the subdial, and you can see a lot of the Tag Heuer Monza inspiration on this dial. I love the cushion case designs with high polish and satin finish. This one actually boasts 100 meters of water resistance. In comparison, this one you see here is the Mark II driver chronograph, which also tracks 1 hour on the subdial, but it is utilizing the Seiko VK64 mechaquartz movement, so you get that beautiful 4 tick per second sweep. The downside, however, is that it will only track up to 1 hour on the chronograph and then stop automatically to preserve the battery life. I think the colors on the Mark II are a lot more fun. You get more contrast. I actually like the design of the stick hands a bit more, and you're also getting a sapphire crystal upgrade on this model. However, water resistance drops to 50 meters, which is a bit of a bummer, but I will say I don't wear any of my chronographs in the water. It's just not something I've ever done, so I don't mind it only being 50 meters water resistance. Next, we'll go with the handwind mechanical chronograph. Many of you probably have seen if you follow me on Instagram, you know about it already, and that is this Alpha model 6102-6400, which is clearly an homage of the Rolex Paul Newman Daytona. Now, this watch is a very special piece in my collection as it was acquired as a trade between me and my good friend Brian Trump all the way out in Aruba. I had sent him my Reef Tiger RGA 3033, which is an homage of the Omega Speedmaster, and he sent me this one. What I love about it, aside from the design of course, is that it's powered by the Seagull SG2903 mechanical handwind movement. Now, some would argue that a handwind movement is part of its charm, but for me, it actually ended up being an inconvenience since I don't wear just this one watch. And if I let more than 2 days go by without winding it, I'll have to set the time again the next time I do wear it. But that is a minor inconvenience that I can quickly forget about as I get lost in the details of the dial, the case, and the movement itself. What a beauty. I love the scratches and patina it has from the time under Brian's ownership, and I like these small imperfections like these flecks of debris inside the case under the acrylic crystal. The faux tina color may be off-putting for some, but for me, it gives it that vintage charm and also gives the watch an ability to be an incredible strap monster. My favorite pairings so far on this one have been this chocolate brown Italian leather strap from Vario with its cream colored contrast stitch and this Dasari Belize Nubuck suede strap by Strapsco in this rich navy blue suede color. Brian, if you're watching this, thank you, brother. This piece will stay with me forever. It's an absolutely stunning watch, and I hope you're enjoying the Reef Tiger. Moving back to a quartz piece, this is my Betto Maso Firenze racing chronograph watch. This brand I came across randomly, and while this model is discontinued, you can usually find them on eBay and similar sites, often pre-owned for a decent price. What you're getting is what looks very much like a Breitling Navitimer. However, this watch has a unidirectional rotating bezel that can be used as a world timer function. There's many color options, but I personally just love the contrast of the green, gold, silver, and red on this piece. And with being 100 meters water resistant, you can again technically put this on a different strap and get in the water, but I've pretty much kept it on this original strap in green with champagne colored contrast stitching. And two words to describe this piece are contrast and depth. The recessed dial lies deep under the crystal, and we see a step down design from the outer chapter ring in the bezel. Loads of contrast throughout, and not just with color, but finishing as you see the high polish accents and satin brushing along the case and bezel. I think this one I'll likely let go of though, because I just don't give it much wrist time these days. So let's move over to one that has gotten plenty of wrist time, and that is my Brew Retrograph Technicolor. I have had the chance to chat with Jonathan, the owner and designer of Brew watches, on the app Clubhouse. I should say it was more of a casual watch talk, not like a one-on-one conversation with the guy, but he's a really nice and passionate watch lover. I love that his micro brand is centered around coffee with vintage inspiration and design elements. The Retrograph uses the Seiko VK64 mechaquartz movement, it has sapphire crystal, and he just knocks it out of the park with its design. I don't want to say too much because I've yet to do a review on this piece, but when it comes to straps, it does surprisingly well on a variety of leather textures and stays true to its retro look with its beads of rice bracelet. I really need to review this one for y'all soon, so stay tuned. Alright, two watches left, the Alpena and the Invicta. Let's do the Invicta first so we can finish strong with the Swiss-made Alpena last. This is currently the only Invicta in my collection. I've owned many before, so I personally don't have anything against the brand, but I understand the stigma around the brand, and I understand why they catch a lot of hate and eye rolls. In my opinion, they have some absolute great value pieces, most notably the Pro Diver series with the Seiko NH35 movement, but this particular model you see here has been discontinued, and I had to settle on this piece in two-tone because I just cannot find the actual all-steel Zenith El Primero homage they released. I've been searching for about a year and a half with no luck, but that's okay because this two-tone rose gold version is still an homage of the Zenith El Primero reference number, ready for this? 51.2150.400/69-C713. The detail work and finishing on this watch is actually pretty good for what I paid on this piece. It's not perfect, it does leave a bit to be desired, but a few key points to note is that it is powered by the Swiss Parts Ronda movement caliber 5040.D, which by the way hits all the hands when it's running, which is a huge deal for anyone that has owned quartz pieces. It also does not have the large Invicta engraved branding on the side of the case, which I know rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I paired it up on this Strapsco suede rally strap with the deployant clasp, as the strap it came on originally was a cheap stiff leather strap. I think about that Austin homage of the Zenith I reviewed about 2 years back. Man, that thing was horrible. So I know this watch is going to run, I know it's going to last, but I also know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so let's move on. Alright, lastly, the best for last. We have the Alpena Start Timer Pilot Automatic Chronograph model reference AL-860GB4S6B. Now, this watch is such a stunner to me. I brought this one after going down an IWC, Le Petit Prince pilot watch binge. I noticed that so many pilot watches out there, especially in the kind of entry-level, luxury entry-level and higher brands, use the Value 7750, and for me, it's just too repetitive and restrictive for the design of those watches. And I get it. That movement is an absolute beast. I mean, it's even got the day-date complication. Some use just the date, but I just felt it was a bit played out. Everything I was looking at was using it. So when I started looking at less expensive alternatives to the IWC, I came across a few brands and Alpena was one of them. Swiss made using the Sellita SW500 movement that has been modified for a bicompax layout, absent of a date, just pure symmetry and tool watch vibes. I made sure to get this one on a bracelet and I did a full review on this piece, so you should definitely check it out. This anthracite sunburst dial, the blued AR coating, fully loomed hour markers and Arabic numerals, and that little pop of red on the second hand are some of my favorite things about this one. I also like that the chronograph hand will run continuously, so after 1 hour of tracking, it'll just reset and keep going, so you can sync the chronograph second hand with the running second hand subdial. This watch is hands down the largest chronograph out of the group. It's the heaviest, but it's also the most substantial and has the best finishing out of the bunch. So there we have it, my chronographs. I clearly don't need all of these, and I have admitted to you that I don't wear all of them all that much, so I think keeping 2 or possibly 3 max is something likely to occur this year. I would be willing to give up the Alpena, but it would only be to upgrade to a higher tier brand, which I don't have set as a priority for 2022, so we'll just have to wait and see what comes down the road. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know which of these stood out and resonated with you the most. I always appreciate your perspective and I enjoy having our conversations down in the comments, so let me know what you're thinking. And as always, until next time, may the Schwartz be with you. Take care.